Hey guys. Hey David, Peter, Stuart, Jerp. G'day Jerpy. Hope you're doing alright. Matt's, James P. G'day. David Ian Sykes, hello. Kevin, g'day. Paul Pipperton, hello. Dan Shed. Fridge, g'day. It's nice to have this tablet back. Left it down at Dan's. Which was a bit of a pain in the neck, but anyway. Chirpy joined the club. Anyway, got it back and it's charged up. I remembered to charge it this morning and all that stuff. It's really awesome. So here we are. Hopefully the picture's a little bit better. Weekend away. Down at Dan's doing what was going to be a big weekend of roller maintenance. We got some stuff done. Don't know if we got a lot of roller maintenance done, but we got quite a lot of steam cleaning and some investigation stuff, and we moved it round and moved it back, and it's coming up all right. Jenny and Randy, g'day. So that was the day really. It was Saturday and Sunday. There's a video coming, but I loaded everything into my video editor last night and it crashed, so I've updated it because that's what it said it needed. So hopefully that's fixed that and I can do something over the weekend. Got a fair bit done. Plans to move forward. I don't know if that's really what we got. We got found a bit extra to do in the long run. So that's sort of what we did. I came home yesterday and had a bit of a mess with this. This isn't terrible. This flywheel fits nicely, which I like. Gosh, my hands are starting to look old. Got all this turning pretty well, actually. This is a good fit on the crank. This one, which I've done, I put a bush in it and rebored it. For some reason, it's come out a fraction oversize. Not happy with that. Don't like that bit of wobble, because when you put the key in, it's not gonna stay tight. So I might do that one again at some point. Got these 4 little bolts in here, 4 studs and nuts, 2 here and 2 here, and I've got this lined up pretty nicely this way on the crank and pretty nicely this way on the crank. So I think that's pretty good on centre. Haven't even really looked at this bit. This still needs honing properly. And I guess that might be the next job. Don't know. Need a cam for this. Nothing's happened with that yet. Goes on the other side of this gear. And all sorts of levers and things going along here, but probably piston and conrod and things would be next. Maybe once we get the keyways in here and the keys on. but it's looking all right. It's coming up. So that's the progress report on that. It's probably not too bad now. No wobble in that. There's no wobble in this end. This slides nicely. The gears mesh pretty sweetly. This lines up right. This is going to need machining down to match here all the way across the front, filing up nice. And then I think this one's going to need a bit off this side, or filling up or something. I don't know. I'm probably going to take a bit off this side. Basically set it up on against this edge on the mill and run that off and file it up. So that's what's going to happen. James P's got coffee. I have two. I think mine's actually, I've got half a mouthful left, so I'm going to have that. Apart from that, this is looking all right, I think. Not sure about that pulley. We've still got to find a fan for it. It does line up nicely on the side of this flywheel though, so hopefully we can run a belt off there onto there and throw the flywheel, the fan. So pretty happy with that, how it's looking. I'm a bit annoyed about this flywheel, but it's not the end of the world to bore that out and start again with that. Get it right. It's only a bit of scrap cast iron I had here. I've got plenty more, but it's just a fraction too loose. Don't like that much. So there we go. It's getting a bit heavy. Most of the roller looks like this. It's black and it's pretty greasy. If you do this, you end up black. In fact, that's caked so hard that you've got to really scrape it off to get black. These are a couple of little jobs that we need to do. We pulled the tender doors out, inspection doors, the one underneath, and there's one in the end at the back. Discovered that the metal in the tender is surprisingly good. And the little hole that we managed to pick up at the end of Glen Ray is only where the dipper, there's a square brass dipper that goes through a hole in the top and sits on the bottom of the tank at this point, and that jiggles up and down and has put a hole in the tank, so we can easily fix that. That's not the end of the world. So I did a bit of investigation there and pulled the ash pan off and steam cleaned all the tubes and the grate and the smoke box and the ash pan. Managed to get filthy dirty, as you do. Anything to do with ash pans, which are about my least favourite steam device. Anything to do with ash pans leaves you black and muddy. It's like working in wet cement that's also black. It's not very much fun. Anyway, this doesn't leak particularly. Doesn't seem to anyway. Rust Knox, hello. Probably your ash pan chirpy is within reach, whereas mine is sort of 8 inches off the ground at arm's length, and is about it's 3'6" by 2'6", or a bit bigger. wood heater or a hot water system, yeah, that's awesome. But this is just a pain in the neck of the thing, and it weighs about, what, 30 kilo when it's full. Probably not in 25 anyway. So it's not a fun thing. So the only real job this needs is a clean and a polish. Yeah, scraped it out first. Yeah, it gets pretty dirty. I've got a rake. It's standard equipment. It gets done every time we drop the fire, but yeah, it's very difficult being curved corners and everything to get it really clean. Anyway, enough whinging. Got it off and got it back on again. Not my favourite thing. Ross, g'day. So this needs, what this needs is a thread on it, right, without destroying too much the look of the original, because this is the original Fowler blowdown valve. Goes on the wall of the boiler like this on the smoke box, on the firebox, on the firebox wrapper anyway, on the outside. Ross is here and gone and back again. It's got a line on here that says open or closed. It's just got a tapered plug with a nut and a probably fibre washer or something there, I think. I reckon it's a fibre washer. Could do with a polish, but it really wants a thread in it so we can reclaim water out of it. There's a ton of water we can't really afford to lose, so it'd be nice to have an easy way to put that back. To put that back into a water tank and back into our reclaim system. So yes, it's a pretty solid casting, but it's a very small part of a fairly big machine. And it'll have a scrape off and it'll go through the ultrasonic cleaner. We'll get it nice and clean and probably give it a polish before it goes back on. Not that that's... So that's a job. It's not a very big job. Basically file that out and find something to fit in it, and silver, solder, or bronze, a thread or a piece with a thread on the end of it, so that we can put basically a barrel union on here and screw a hose on it to drain some water back. This one needs a bit more work. There you go. Everyone knows what this is, I'm sure. This is sort of a combined valve, and it's pretty well worn out. This is all worn in here. Not an injector. This is a simpling valve for a compound engine, not for the roller. Right, it's got a basically a have to work out exactly how it works. But this valve here with the tap on it, the handle on it, is basically, it puts the simpling valve out of order. All it is a tapered seat in a hole, right, with packing on it. And you screw that down and it blocks this hole here off, right, so you can't possibly get steam through here. This one here, which should be spring loaded or something, not sure how that works. Works from the control from the back head. We got a pretty good reclaim system. We're getting pretty good at that. So recycling the water is not a bad thing. We've got a nice stainless tank for reclaimed water. Boiler treatment and water is too expensive to not be using twice, especially when you're talking about a ton of it at a time. So what this does is when you pull the lever, when you pull this lever or push the lever, when you push the lever, this valve opens this valve and lets the steam from this port here to this port, basically, which gives you high pressure steam through to the compound cylinder, which gives you basically a double high cylinder, which also means that it makes it easier to start because you're not having to swing on the flywheel to get it off top dead center most of the time. And it also, if you're working it a bit hard and rather than open the throttle and all that sort of thing, it's probably, you can nearly drive the thing on the simpling valve and the gear lever. It's why you've got a system to switch it off, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's got an isolation valve for the low pressure, for the high pressure steam into the low pressure cylinder. It's a bit strange. Like a kick down, yeah, that sort of thing, I guess, is sort of in one way. Mostly it's just a starting valve and it's spring loaded and you just push it and it gives you high pressure steam across on the compound cylinder. Like Dan says, it's a useful thing for if you want to move the crank half a turn. So this is all worn out anyway. You've got to put it down and sort of work out what's wrong with it and dress it up and make it all work again. Give it a clean up, make a couple of proper nuts for here again because it had modern nuts on here which look a bit ugly. So this all needs bushes and it's pretty well worn out. And it's probably going to need packing. And these two shafts, this one, and if we look at this one, I've actually removed all the bits of wire and stuff that were holding this packing in place. But this shaft is, can we see that? It's pretty badly worn in places. So probably needs a new spindle in this one, new spindle in this one, I would say, depending on what's involved in it. So that's another job. For some time now, the rollers had sign writing on, basically on one side of the canopy, mostly because I'm not really happy with the way it went on. It's not really what I was planning to do and I don't like it very much, so never went ahead with the other one. And the other reason is that while it's up on top of the roller you need a ladder and it's usually windy and rainy or miserable, and there are good reasons for the weather outside why you shouldn't do it. So I pulled both boards off the canopy and brought them back home with me. And much the same as Dan's truck, yes. Except Dan's trucks, yeah, we just got to do that. Probably should have stopped around on Monday and done it, to be honest. It didn't happen. Sorry. So, brought them home. We're going to fix them, get them all sorted, and be able to put them back on. And there's another job done. Anyway, there's a few jobs. There's a few jobs to be done, I guess. Anyway, that's what's happening with that. I don't, it feels like things are getting done, but I don't know whether at what speed. It seems like it's a lot more jobs to be done than actually are getting done. I don't know. I guess at some point we will eventually get through the list, but it's quite a lot cleaner. There's still parts of it that are as black as those two valves and as greasy. I'm not sure sometimes whether we've actually just spread the grease out or whether we're actually removing some of it. But this has been a problem for a while. Like, this has been leaking bad, this one, back through here, through this packing. And this has been sort of operating for a while. This has just been a pain in the neck because we've got to drain into a bucket and then pump out of a bucket or out of a tub. And that's a pain because this is only like 8 inches off the ground, something like that. And behind the wheel, so you can't really get a bucket in there to do it. So rather than just let a ton of water go out on the ground every time we pull the thing up, we'll put it back in through the system and even clean it up. Clean it up a bit and use it again next time. So they're jobs. This has got a thread and a piece on this end of the spindle, and then I think it's just straight spindle all the way through with the thread on this end and the handle. So with any luck, that handle will unscrew, and then we can screw the new one in, and it looks like, I don't think it might be peened over, but it might just be blind hole too. And screw a new one in anyway, nice and tight. This is a Fowler handle. The gauge glass has these. I'm not as in love with them as I probably could be as a handle shape to them as far as practical. They're a bit of a pain to get hold of with gloves, but they are kind of cool looking, I guess, and to keep them all original. So they're all jobs we're doing. Absolutely no closer to working out what colour we're going to paint it, or just looking at the thing and walking around it and doing jobs on it, and you realise the enormity of what needs to be done before we get to that stage. It's a bit of work in it, but get a few of these jobs done. And g'day. A few of these jobs are done at a time, and next time we go down we can put them all back on and we can sort of be somewhere near, a little bit closer to being finished. everything I pull off's got mismatched nuts on it though. Replacement nuts from the 90s or the last 20 years, 30 years, and they don't look the same as the one as the rest of them. So everything you sort of do, you've got to put, we need a couple extra nuts for that, and a couple extra for this. Just how it is. Anyway, what else is everyone up to? What have I seen? Ross has been building an engine. Dan's not doing much. He's just fixing stuff and building a shed. Do we have shows to do this year? No, thank God. We're probably going to do a road run. At some point, probably late November, something like that, if that happens. Ian's just bought a mini lathe. It's probably all right. James P is having some hurricane rain. We've had a storm here tonight too. Rustnock's been making a steady mule table rest, I think. Yeah, get a collet chuck, Ross. It's well worth the trouble. Haven't seen a lot from Chirpy, but maybe I've just missed it. I don't know. Rustnock should be way more than 7,000. That's exactly right. But a very good channel. If you're not following Rustnox on YouTube, you should go across and subscribe to him right now and come back. We'll wait. Matt's has made a whole bucket of aluminium chips. Rustnox, I don't know how to do that either. I've got Friday off because it's Gold Coast show day. I'm not sure. It makes it a very short week for me. I only got 3 days work. That's all right though. We'll get in and we might make a start on some of this stuff and clean it up. I'm probably going to. Excuse me. Probably gonna. I don't know. I'm probably gonna spend some time on this, to be honest. Don't know. We'll see how we go Friday. There's a few chores to do around the place too, so we probably should do them. Bit of cleaning and stuff. Is Gold Coast show a big one? No, not really. Not even a little bit, but we get public holiday for it. Everyone being adjacent to a weekend, being Friday, everyone goes away, so it makes it a dead weekend as far as sales and things at work. Some video of the show. I don't think I'll be going to the show. It's too expensive and not enough time. Might be a fun thing to go and make a video of one day, but I'd go to the Eka probably, which is a big Brisbane one. Trouble is now that it's sort of, you go on your own, it's sort of a $200 day. Oh, that sounds awesome, Matt. I've
got the balancer going if they're interested.
Oh, absolutely. We could go and watch Joe curse at his wheel balancer. Who's in for that? I think I'm up for that. It's always entertaining. It's basically top class entertainment. Let's have a look. This is Joe.
Hello.
This is Joe's wheel balancer on the what probably should be the dining table, but it's not.
No. So that's the light spot. This is the arbor Emma's made, and I'm just trying to get it repeatable. And you can, I don't know if you can see that, but the black mark is coming up again. It's not that repeatable. It's probably repeatable within a few 20 degrees. Now I've just set this up, so it may make me look like an idiot, but oh no, there we go. Yep, thinks that's the light side. Oh, so the heavy side's down there. So if I spin it around here, see if the Falcon mark comes to the top again. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
The
Emma machined this arbor, and obviously it's completely out of spec. needs a rework.
But
so
doesn't
I don't
roll
know.
off the end.
Yeah, so I think this, you just need to get on this heavy side, and I don't know. I guess you said file off a bit of
I
that or
just did
something.
triangle file and filed across it. Maybe
Yeah.
it wouldn't take much. I bet it's
Yeah.
not much.
Well, the rest of this has been made with the assistance of Bunnings, so that wouldn't be out of place. But it's a copy of Carl M's balancer, and it, the way you do this is, I don't know if you get a grinder, it is worth balancing the wheels.
Maybe.
I've discovered it's on 3 points, and you just put a couple of planer blades in there, and you align the planer blades. You can watch Carl M's video, but you put it upside down on the surface plate rather, and just adjust those screws until there's absolutely no rock, and then of course they're perfectly planar. As I said, they've been ground maybe 2 thou off, so there's a tiny little flat edge, and that tiny flat edge, I think, results in less rolling resistance.
I think so too.
So that it's actually sensitive enough to balance something, as this is pretty damn balanced already, but this is able to sense that it's not. So yeah, and then after this is balanced, we balance this. And this
Probably way out.
which will be way out. And I've just moved this on the dining table, so it's going to be
That's going to be way out too.
it's not going to be level anymore, I don't think. But yeah, I think it could just be rolling. I think it's just rolling.
Yeah, it's just going to roll off the end.
Or maybe that's the highest. No, well, maybe it's. I think it has actually got a high spot in between, or a heavy spot.
Maybe. We should check the
Anyway,
balance
yeah,
first.
I'll have to check this with a precision level. Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, that's what Joe's doing. He'll be there for hours.
Yeah.
He'll either throw everything out the back door and give up and come back and get it tomorrow, or he'll have some actual success and he'll be on a high for a week. David says, which 540 have you got? He's got 2 handbooks.
It's 1965.
And it's got hardened ways.
Hardened ways, yes, it does for some reason.
And plain bearing spindle.
Yeah. If anyone's got a ball bearing spindle they want to sell, I'd be very interested. But
Dan could see himself chasing backwards and forth all night and getting nowhere. I can see Joe doing that, and that's just normal, I think.
it takes a while. If you watch that video of Carl Ems, he's got a sort of, he starts and it's got cut many hours later, and it's as good as he can get it. But when you're chasing microns, you do actually need this, sort of.
Kevin says his is ball bearing.
Yeah, okay, lucky bugger.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, there are a few manuals out there. I've got most of the online ones, I think. So if anyone needs an online manual for a JNS 540, hit up Emma and she'll hit up me and I'll send them to you, because I've got about 4 or 5.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So that all looks like great fun. And probably it's not the path of madness at all. At this point, I'm wondering.
Not at all. No. This is normal. For a human being.
Yeah. So Joe's balancing wheels. Kevin says, yes, please, Emma.
Yeah. No worries.
You haven't got a serial number, have you, Joe?
Nope.
No serial number on Joe's. So there we go. That's what Joe's doing. He's balancing wheels. He'll be there for about another week. Actually, he's got some pretty reasonable grinding done, so I'm saying that he's going to master this eventually. Kevin's 540 is in bits at the moment. Don't put it to bits. It's silly talk. Never ever pull a new machine to bits for the first 2 months you own it. That's my rule. So that's what's happening. I've lost my scribe out of my scribe block. I ended up using this, which is a bit lightweight. I'm really not a big fan of that. Looked like a good idea, but it's not really the thing. What stones is Joe using? I'm not sure. He bought a couple. I'm not sure he's very sure himself, to be honest. David's got a couple of... Did you say you had a couple of grinders, David? I still owe you a favour, David. So I had to mark the centre line of this. Because this needs to be on centre this way. And I've got the scribing block out, which was a Australian government tool annex job, I think, that my grandfather probably made during World War II, but I can't find the scriber. It must be here somewhere, and when I find it, I'll put it in, but it's fallen out at this point. Take care, Ian. Don't work too hard. So basically I mark this and I scribe this all the way around, and then set this up. Made a stupid little device to go in this hole, because you can't mark these through past the cylinder. So I made like a little flat tack that's a good fit in this hole with a big head on it, and then hit that with a centre punch and transferred the mark across and tapped and drilled one and fitted it up, and then did the next one, so on and so forth until it was right. But it's a bit of a fool of a thing to take on and off. And I've just put 5 BA studs in there and nuts and washers. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. It's beautifully on centre this way, I think. Have a look down there. I think it's probably not far off centre, depending on where you hold the camera. If we hold the camera lens somewhere near on centre, there's always going to be distortion. But I think it's right this way. And I think it's pretty right this way. I finally made these bearings so there's no slop in them, and they've run pretty nice, so I'm really happy with that. Feels like there's a handful of these that aren't quite right. Like, we had a few goes at that before we got that right. Next thing will be a lap for this, and I want to finish my excuse me. I want to finish my internal lap as well for the piston. Good idea. We've had ours. Well, Joe's had his apart too, Matt, and back. Oh, Kevin, and it's all back together. It seems to be running pretty nice. Still hasn't probably cleaned these. He's been messing around with the cooling system, and guessing that this weekend or sometime he's going to dress up the chuck. He's got Friday off too, so he's also got Saturday and Sunday, so he'd be set. Someone else bought this. Take care, Randy. And it's not bad, but it's got about half a thou bell at the front and the back, so it does need a lap. It's also, what, 6 thou under size. Not that that's going to be a big deal. It's going to, whatever it finishes up to, make the piston match. But it does need a proper hone through here, proper lap to get it right. So that's a job. Then this block cast iron, which is a bit ugly. It's got 3 holes, or 3 studs. However it works. 3 studs to hold it in place. There's a spark plug through this one, and there's an exhaust port through this one. The air-cooled one has a vertical muffler. And there must be I think the intake's underneath or somewhere. I'm not sure where that goes. Have a look on the drawing. And then this pot here and this one need to be machined to the same height. And then there's a push rod runs on here. It's all jobs to do, but it's looking all right. First, I've got to fix this flywheel again, I guess. A bit unhappy. It was sort of a tight fit, and I probably should have persevered with it, but I took another fractionally cut out of it, and now it's too loose. Anyway, I'm glad and sort of pleased with the progress I'm making on that. I reckon a few more weeks will make a big difference to that. We might even sort of half get it looking like it's going to go. I think this will be much easier to get going than some of the others that I've built. Anyway, let's be rabbiting on about things that I'm doing here. there seems to be a bit of a list of jobs. Still going to make a boiler for the top here too, and I don't think that I've got a button die for that thread, which I think it's a different thread to this one. Yeah, this is 532.40, I think. These little oilers. This one here, I think, is 3/16/32, which I'm not sure why I picked that thread, but I'm thinking that's probably what it is. So we need a 3/16/32 button die, or to find one at least. There might be one here. Ross is set. He's got a box of metal. And this needs a little drip water on it. Don't know. Haven't given that a lot of thought yet. It might just end up with a wick oiler on it. Don't know. Probably wants a drip oiler to be any good, or to look nice. It's a vanity thing more than anything. Probably run alright with a drop of oil in the bottom there. This bolt's for the crank guard on here. We have a look at some drawings, I guess. Shift a coffee cup. This is the external hone. It's gosh, I'm not even sure who made that. Bruce Engineering. Picked it up with another kit. Was in amongst it, so I've got the castings. I think I've got all the bits to make it, so it's probably not a big deal to get in and actually make it. This is the governor system. Timing notes. Some really nice printing actually on this. Yeah, I wish I was capable of putting block letters on a drawing like that. A lot of work in that. Paul Arbrecht has been dead for quite some time. This drawing is 1982. It shows the basically the assembly of the governors. There's a key in here. In the flywheel, there's this little bracket on the side here that holds the governor weights on. These are spring loaded together, and then it's got a little spool on here and a lever across this point here that closes it with a basically adjustable screw. And then these, so that's how that works. Gosh, it's not older than me. So we go to the main drawings, which I think are older than that again. Let's have a look here. Drawing on this one is 1974. That one is older than me. Only a couple of years, but here we go. So this is the cylinder head and how it's set out. There's 3 holes here, and then there's your valve holes, which are right through. Then I've got the valve, got the cylinder, that upside down. This one here is for your intake. This one here is for the exhaust. The exhaust for the air cooled actually has a right angle here, and the pipe comes up through the top and out there's 2 studs. And there's 2 studs here for the carby. And then 2 studs here for the push rod assembly. These are drilled right through for the valves, and then they've got a little valve guide that pushes in. That's got to be concentric, and I'm a bit nervous about that. But I guess if we get in, we'll make them. So the head itself is fairly simple. The valves and valve stems, the valve guides, or valve stem guides, and things are a bit more complicated. The piston hasn't got rings, it's just got oil grooves. There's half to 1 thou loose. We'll see how we go with that. But with the outside lap, it shouldn't be difficult. And it's got 2 set screws for the gudgeon, which we'll see about. This here is brass, it says. 1 required. It's got a step here. So this is machined with a step, and then this piece is machined with a step, and they're bolted together, and then it's bored on centre. And there's another one of those oilers goes on the back, and then 2 7/8 centres. So I don't think it's a difficult bit. There's the water-cooled cylinder, which I don't have. It's very similar to what I have got. It's the air-cooled one. We've got an extra separate drawing for that, I think. So a lot of these, that's the rocker arm bracket, which lines up with the 2 holes on the head. That's it there. And 2 keys. This is said the keyway is tapered. I might not use a brooch for that. We'll see how we go with that. You can probably make a tapered brooch bush to do that. I'm still thinking about that one. But it'll be much tighter fit if it is tapered rather than a square straight key. There's the cam. We actually 3D printed one of those. I'm still working out how. The best way to manually machine it if it comes to that. Really, you want to machine this across like tangential to these two, and then this across. Well, it's not even, it's just odd. See, none of these are straight or tangential. I'm not really sure how to do this, but I think we'll get it CNC'd when the mill's going again. So that's the your ignition and intake valve, exhaust valve cam. This bit's done. This is in the side there where the timing gear goes. Haven't made a pin for that yet. These are the governor weights. Not done yet. This bit's done. This is the governor weight yoke, which goes on the flywheel. That's not done yet. It shouldn't be a very difficult thing to machine out of solid though. This is the ignition points timer block. Not even looked at that yet really. I know where it goes and what it does. And there's pushrod points. Valves are up there. Valve spring retainers. Crankshaft's done. There's the pushrod, which is just a piece of square that runs through those two little blocks. Rock arm. Timing gears. And there's not a whole lot of bits still to go. It's getting there. How are you supposed to machine that cam? I've asked Joe to do it on the CNC mill, and probably that's how it'll get done. If we can find a window when it's working. But yeah, anyone who's got any other insight into that, I'd be happy to have a go with a manual mill. But yeah, a bit challenging. And probably the smart way to do it would be to make it a 4 times oversize template, right? If I was going to do it and set it up with basically a copy shaft, and machine it down to size. So basically set this up on one side of the shaft and the proper cam up on the other side, and a bumper on this one, and a cutter on the other, like a cutter on the other one, and then just move this in until it's the right diameter. I think that would probably be the nicest way to do it, just on the shaft. But still thinking about that. And if you're going to do that, well, probably you'd, rather than copy it on a lathe, you'd probably make up a grinder to do it, or some sort of grinder with a spindle. That to me seems like a smart idea, and probably you can make a machine or a jig to do it on the D-bit grinder, I think. Anyway, it's got to be silver soldered or soldered anyway onto the gear, so it can't be too hard or too difficult. Anyway, bit of a challenge. There are more than one way to do the jobs like that though. A lot of these little jobs are, you know, there's probably a day in some of them, probably not so much. So it's not going to take too long to get it to the stage that it might or might not run. Anyway, if I keep mucking bits up, I've got to go back and do this. It might take longer than that. This is loose because I've just put this is a nice fit. It's got a set screw to hold this in place, and this is a really good fit in here. Is how it needs to be. This is a bit loose because I've only put a sort of a cheap quick bush in there to see if everything lined up. You're going to make Whitworth nuts from me, Ross. That's what you decided you were going to do. This has got a notch in here for the lever that runs across here and works on here. I'll give you an address and you can ship them. So anyway, it's coming together. I can send you a set of taps. Very happy to. We need a 1/2 inch, we need a couple of 9/16, we need probably some 3/4. Probably a lot of each. Anyway, so that's what's happening here. Everyone's gone very quiet. Bored you to death with this one, but I'm pretty pleased with it so far. Nice engine for a race car, yeah. Anyway, if you're still looking for something else to do, go and check out some channels. Container Steam Workshop, you should check them out. Rust Knox, you should check him out. Chirpy, you should check him out. Machine NZ, you should check him out. Dan Shed, you should check him out. This is hit and miss. It's got a little... This works a lever across here onto the push rod. Which holds it out. Holds the exhaust valve open so that it doesn't suck fuel. Anyway, take care, Paul. I'm probably going to be out too. We've dribbled for an hour. Really appreciate you hanging in for this long. I work tomorrow, and then I've got Friday off, and then I've got work Saturday, and then I've got Sunday off, and then I've got work Monday, and then I've got Tuesday off, and then I've got work Wednesday. So that doesn't sound like a way to live a life, but I'm dealing with it. Anyway, I might watch some YouTube before I go to bed. Go and see if Joe's topped himself or anything yet in the wheel balancer, and get a cup of coffee. Appreciate you all tuning in. Be kind to each other, and more soon, guys and girls. I'm out.